When I lamented about the woes of breastfeeding, my doula tilted her head and warmly gazed at me. You know you can just stop. You don't have to continue. If it's not working, just stop. This was my first taste of liberation as a new mother. The imaginary standard of the ideal mother was something I aspired to. I thought aiming for perfection or completely eschewing my own needs would ensure I didn't have to face my biggest fear of being an awful mother. Ha! That was a cute thought. In retrospect, how did I not know better? What happened to my radical, queer, feminist informed practices? The truth is, I know how I lost my compass. I did not have a blueprint on mothering that didn't require my own starvation. My mother had other bizarre practices informed by her bouts of delusion as a result of undiagnosed mental health struggles, such as force feeding me milk. I stopped drinking milk as soon as I was able, the very smell of it bringing on bouts of nausea. I had so much milk when I was little. I sometimes think this may be why I have never broken a bone. So much for all the other broken parts. By the time my son was 6 months old, I was struggling with thoughts of suicide. As usual, I tried to figure out what was so wrong with me. Nearly a year later, my son was a year and a half years old, and I hadn't yet found my answer. I was attempting to wrap myself up into a straight marriage with a regular career, a house, and two dogs who could hold me up and protect me from the ghosts that would invariably come knocking. The ghost of my past came at night, when I stared at my son while he slept, imagining to the point of tears all the horrible things that may happen to him on any given day. I worried about him falling. I worried about the sugar levels in his food. I worried about his friends at daycare. I was suffering from postpartum anxiety and depression, to be sure. I worried myself numb. I knew then that the stakes had been raised. I began to look at him distantly when he started crying. I'd hide away from him, or I'd become physically sick when I disciplined him, certain I was causing him irreparable harm. Just a few weeks after my son turned 2 years old, I was diagnosed with a rare type of ovarian cancer. For medical treatment due to the cancer diagnosis, I moved nearly 2,000 miles away from my son so that I could play the long game of staying alive. Moving away meant I had the space to examine myself as a mother from away from my child. I quickly realized that staying alive would require a deeper commitment to sustaining myself with love, care, and love. I recognize that my son is my primary source of sustenance for purpose in this world, and he cannot be the only one to sustain me. If I was going to carry on in my body with my body's unique stories, then I would have to learn to provide myself with nurturance. During the nearly 2 years I spent away from my son, I began to ask myself questions about joy, delight, radical self acceptance, love, and rest. I was honest with myself during this time. I no longer wanted to be a full time parent. When I pushed past the many shades of judgment, the immense guilt and grief at losing my idea of what being a mother would be like, I started to get to an important truth. If I was going to fully be the mother I wanted to be to my son, I would need to spend a great deal of time away from him doing the things I needed to sustain my well being. Did you know that most baby animals are not raised by both parents? When I think about how the best of myself comes out, it is always in the way I love the people around me. Identifying as a queer femme Black woman has meant prioritizing an expansive way of being in relationship to the people around me. I feel more grounded, authentic, and securely connected to other people when I am the most queered version of myself. Thank you. That's just a little something. Thank you guys.
Y'all, oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Camille. Please give it up in the comments and for our attendants, our panelists on camera for that amazing offering. I am still sitting with so many of the things that you offered in that. excerpt, Camille. Amazing. Thank you for your vulnerability and your truth, and for reminding us that mothering and motherhood must exist outside of heteronormative and capitalist structures so that Black femme folks and Black birthing folks can be free. I will be returning to that for the third time after hearing Breathe.